Man, we finally get some news and people are complaining? Hey, what's up everyone, it's me, SpeedSuperSonic, bringing you guys another video. In this video today, we are back again to talk more about the Knuckles TV show heading to Paramount Plus later this year, potentially. I don't know, we don't have an official release date yet, we'll have to wait and see. It'll probably be revealed in like a trailer or something. But with that being said, I'm kind of here to talk about the fallout, or if that's the proper term to use, of this announcement that was made on Monday. If somehow you've been sleeping under a rock in the Sonic fanbase, yes, the Knuckles TV show has been officially announced, like properly, with a giant variety article giving us the entire cast, some details on the show, including the plot synopsis. And that's the biggest part of all of this. So some people are very happy to see the photo that director Jeff Fowler released of the hat from the OVA, and that being a little callback and showing some faithfulness to the source material, obviously. The actual plot synopsis, the description of what the show will be, is not exactly what a lot of fans have been extremely excited about, and has honestly led to a very mixed response from fans, and there not being that much excitement or engagement going around about this announcement, which kind of surprised me. The Sonic movie universe has proven to be very popular, not just in general, but also with the Sonic fan base. But of course, there are obviously detractors for people, and there are people who aren't exactly the biggest fans of the Sonic movie, and that's completely fine. I just want to say, from this point forward, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and the way that I think is not the way that you have to think. That's the great thing about this channel and the thing in YouTube in America, that you can think whatever you want and no one can really, take that away from you. But almost since the original Sonic movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and at this point forward, there have been criticisms about the Sonic movies, their faithfulness to the source material, and also the goofiness of it sometimes. And that seems to be a lot of people's complaints going into the Knuckles show, specifically with the plot synopsis, which is about Knuckles teaching Wade the ways of the Echidna warrior, and not a lot of people are excited about that. If you guys don't know, Wade is a smaller character in the Sonic movie franchise. He had a little bit of a larger role in 2 than he did in 1, but he is a comic relief character, he's a human character. It wasn't exactly my top choice of I can see this character being one of the main characters in the new Sonic TV show. It almost seems like the series is going to be like the Sonic movies with Sonic and Tom, but instead it's going to be Knuckles and Wade. Wade being this overly silly, goofy character, and then you have Knuckles, who seems to be becoming more of a goofy character, especially towards the end of Sonic Movie 2, if you guys watch the movie, which if you guys haven't, you really should. You should go see it. He's a little sillier, he's a little goofier than he's during the rest of the movie. It's such a drastic change, right when they become friends, to what he is at the end of the movie, and I honestly, a lot of people don't like it whatsoever. They think Knuckles is dumb and he's stupid, and it is a very sudden shift of tone and character, but I like it, I'm not gonna lie. So matching those two together is just the perfect way to cause some chaos, but not everybody thinks of it that way. Not a lot of people are excited about that. In part, I can understand it. Maybe some people wanted something different, like a prequel about Knuckles leading up to his meeting with Dr. Eggman and run-ins with Sonic and learning more about who he was, but the show is going to take place between 2 and 3, the Sonic movies, so this is going to be taking place after Sonic Movie 2, and we're going to be able to learn a lot more about where Knuckles is currently. The point is, a lot of people don't like the sound of this. A lot of people think that this sounds like a very mid idea, which I hate that term when it comes to just criticizing something. And this is actually spun off into people airing out a lot of their grievances with the Sonic movie franchise as a whole, with them saying that the takes on the characters aren't good, it doesn't represent who Sonic and his cast are in other media and the source material. And while this isn't necessarily an entire video about me defending the takes on movie Sonic and how the character is written and all of that, I do want to say it is quite possibly my favorite interpretation of the Sonic character. And it's also the reason I'm about to give for that is also why I think there should be some more optimism and some excitement going into the Knuckles show. Traditionally in Sonic, for the longest time, only until the past few years, Sonic has been a very static character. He's just kind of a blank wall. He doesn't really have that much of a personality outside of his core fundamentals that everybody knows about. He's just a guy that loves adventure, and that's really all he was. And for almost all of the 2010s, there's been the complaint that Sonic is too boring. He's too happy-go-lucky. He doesn't really have that much of a character anymore. And that was very true. That complaint was right, and every fan had the right to feel that way. But then the Sonic movie came along and changed some things. I think it's important for characters, especially Sonic characters, if you want to buy them in these long story formats like movies and TV shows, to really relate to the character, which I think is important. The last thing I want to watch as an audience member is a perfect character who does nothing wrong, who has no bad bone in their body, who doesn't mess up at any points, who's just perfect and he's good at everything. That's boring. It would make no sense in a story for any of these characters to be set as who they are. They need to have a character arc. If the first Sonic movie opened with Sonic just doing Sonic things, being perfectly normal, was the best Sonic ever, and he was just beating up bad guys with ease and doing all of this stuff, there would be no payoff. There would be no story at that point. He would just be kind of perfect. The movies gave him flaws, learning experience, lessons, but making Sonic relatable I think is one of the best decisions that this franchise has made, and I know a lot of fans aren't seeing that right now. They want it to just be perfect, which frankly I don't want, and made me not really like the Sonic character for the longest time in other media. And the same applied with Knuckles in Sonic Movie 2. He is not perfect either. He's very faithful to his source material, with being gullible, with not being the smartest guy in the room all the time, not always thinking with his head, with his fists instead. That kind of rhymed. Wow, I went crazy. The Sonic movies can get silly, but they have their serious moments too, and at the end of the day, these are characters who have an arc to go through. And I think we'd be naive to think that the Knuckles show just simply wouldn't have that and would ditch all of that for comedy. Knuckles had his arc in Sonic Movie 2, and they have to get him in a place where he's ready for Sonic Movie 3. I'm sure this show is going to be very comedic and have its goofy moments and elements, obviously. Just listening to the premise alone, it sounds like that. But despite how goofy and silly that this universe can get at points, it still has an emotional through line, it still has something that can impact you with the character at the core of it. And while Patrick Casey and Josh Miller, who wrote the first two movies, aren't working on the show, I believe, instead it's another writer who worked on specifically Sonic Movie 2, who also wrote the Lego Batman movie, I believe. He's already written for Knuckles before, and he has experience with these characters, and I'm sure that the other writers will be able to take care of this as well. I have confidence that if this universe thus far has delivered us these characters and the best versions of them, in my opinion, I don't see why the show would be any different. It may not be, you know, Knuckles going to Angel Island and fighting Rouge and trying to find Master Emerald shards. That's probably not what the show is going to be about. But I don't think we should write the show off because it's not going to have these specific Sonic elements. I want the franchise to change. I want it to evolve. I want it to do new, different, interesting things. We're probably, if we're being real, not going to see something like this for a long time unless this thing is a massive success. A live-action Sonic the Hedgehog TV show, not even about Sonic but another character, that's crazy. That's big. I'm not saying accept everything that's thrown at you and to just like eat it up and enjoy it. But I'm simply asking that fans maybe open up their minds a little bit. Maybe accept new takes on these characters that are different from what has come before. Sonic has never been a franchise that is serious. It's a franchise called Sonic the Hedgehog, about a blue guy that runs fast with his other colorful animals that also run fast. There's serious moments, obviously, but at the end of the day, this is like an E10 rated franchise. This is a PG movie franchise. This is a TVY7 TV show franchise. It's nothing that is very serious or supposed to be taken very serious, but it doesn't mean it can't have heart to it. Sonic is made for kids at the end of the day, and we have to accept that, but it's also something that can be enjoyed by teenagers and adults, and that anybody can really enjoy. But we do have to understand the main demographic that Sonic is aimed towards. Just like someone might be a fan of Sonic in particular, there may be somebody who Knuckles is their favorite character like ever, and that's their favorite Sonic character, and that character means something very important to them personally, and they want to see that character done right. And I feel the exact same way. Every single character in this franchise means something to me on a deeper level than I can even explain, including the character of Knuckles. I cut the man's head off, for God's sakes, you know? I love Knuckles. Trust me. And if I thought these characters were getting done a disservice, in my opinion, I would voice that. I hated where the characters were in the 2010s, from Colors onward. I couldn't stand it. They were blank cardboard standees of the characters that they were before. Stereotypes, archetypes, little to no character or even development wasn't a word that you could put near these characters for the longest time. And the Sonic movie delivering like three-dimensional takes on the characters that are not only enjoyable but relatable to audience members was great. You're seeing that in Sonic Prime, which I might make an entire video talking about Prime's depiction of these characters, specifically Sonic, and seeing that translate over into the IDW comics, and more importantly Sonic Frontiers, which I think gave us the best writing for Sonic characters in quite some time. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but definitely a step in the right direction nonetheless. So while yes, complaints or worries about the Knuckles show are more than justified, I just say, keep an open mind to it. Rouge not being in the show, in my opinion, is fine. I don't need another animal character. As long as the story delivers me a fun journey with this guy, I'm not complaining. But I want to know what you think. Are you excited for the Knuckles show? Or do you have the worries that I mentioned in this video? Or maybe something I didn't even mention that has you a little worried about the show, and maybe you're not looking the most forward to it. I want to know what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you guys have to say. Feel free to follow my social media, links to my Twitter and Instagram in the description below. You can follow this behind the scenes of my life, future content, and all things Sonic the Hedgehog. But most importantly, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. This is the #1 destination on YouTube for all things Sonic. Whether it's video games, TV shows, movies, comic books, merchandise, and more, we talk about it all. As the show is filming right now, I'm sure we might get some set photos coming up. I'm sure we might get some other news in relation to it. I am very excited for it. The minute that we get casting information or another look, or especially a teaser, we're gonna be the first ones to it. I'm so excited for the show. I'm so excited to see more of where this universe takes us. We have so much content coming for it with this show, and then obviously the third movie, and God knows what is beyond that point. So I love all you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Wonder what you want right now, wonder what you want right now. Used to be about it, but used to be about it, Counting all my blessings and count my dollars. Make it all better tomorrow. I'll tell you how, bro. If you see me at the bottom, take a